Hi, I'm Amy, and this is my assistant Toby. We are coming to you from Our Memories for Life with our new video series, 5-Minute Tips and Tricks, to equip you with all of the tools you need to make your Year in a Snap project as easy and fun as possible. This first video will focus on how to get the most out of those photos taken with your iPhone camera. The best part about the iPhone camera is you most likely will always have it with you, and you have an unlimited source of film. So learning how to use these tools to their full potential is vital to your photo taking experience. All right, let's get started. I'm going to set our timer for 5 minutes. All right, our next step is to turn your grid on. This is a little tool that not everybody knows about. So go back to your home screen, turn on your settings. You're going to go and look for your photos in camera, and then scroll down to the camera section and click on grid. All right, this is to help you with the fundamental piece of any photo, which is the composition. So let's go to our camera so I can show you what I mean. So do you see those lines on my screen? This grid gives you an easy way to create more interesting photos by using that rule of thirds. So basically, instead of putting your subject in the middle of the screen, which in this case we'll use the clock, so instead of putting it right there in the middle of that center square, I'm going to position it either on that left line of the center square, the right line, or put one of the corners of that center square into the center of the subject. So either that top right corner, bottom right, bottom left, or top left. So this basically is to impact the aesthetics of what you're taking a photo of, and that grid really helps you figure out where you want those items to go. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but it will help you create more captivating images, which equals more beautiful albums to look at. All right, one more photography tip before we get into the features on your camera app. Let's talk about zooming. I'm going to go to my camera. We have our same little setup here. All right, when items are further away, it's very tempting to just zoom up into them. But do you see how they've lost their focus? They're a little bit more pixelated and distorted. So my number one tip with zooming is don't do it. If you can walk up closer to your items or your subjects, that is your best bet, because you can edit the zooming when we get to our editing phase, but you need a good photo to work with in order to do that. So if you come in to edit and your image is all blurry like that, the photo's already distorted, so it makes it harder to edit. Okay, moving on. Let's look at HDR. Do you see the little HDR second from the bottom on the left side in the black, along with all those little tools? So you want to click on that. So here is a photo without HDR. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. And ideally, you would have this on your phone on auto at all times. This feature is awesome. It allows all the super light spots and all the super dark shadows in your photo to have more detail. So looking at this one without HDR, the sky is pretty washed out, and those stairs are a little bit overexposed. So now let's look at our version with HDR. So you see how the colors are a little bit more even. The exposure is more balanced. You have a little bit more of a blue sky. That's because a normal photo will average everything in the shot into one brightness, but HDR combines multiple exposures, usually about 3, into one image. So you will always have both photos when your HDR is on, so you can choose between the two, but this is one of your best tools to use. Okay, our next iPhone feature is one that you're probably familiar with. So I'm going to get into my camera. Okay, this is the tap to focus. So I just tapped my thumb on that clock to bring it into focus. I can tap now on the candle. This is a game changer. You definitely want to do this on people's faces when you're taking a photo of them. That little yellow box will set your subject in focus and also make sure that it's properly exposed. Sometimes you may need to tap around your subject to bring the lighting to a different spot, but that tool is super important. Now, sometimes the image may still look too dark. I'm purposely in kind of a dimmer room to show you that I can tap on that subject and then see that little sunshine to the right of the box. I can slide my finger up to get more light in or down to get less light in. So a lot of people thought that they could only adjust their lighting in editing. Not so. You can do it here, which is really, really cool. This is a really great tool, especially if you're taking a photo of someone in front of a window and they're completely blacked out into a silhouette. You can tap on their face and lift up that lighting. Okay, one more cool thing with the beautiful yellow box. So let's say I really like the lighting right here and I've adjusted it. I can hold down my thumb on that box until it blinks at me and it's locked. So I have locked the focus and the exposure. That means I can go from another angle now, and that's not going to change. So that's another really cool tool that you can use when you're trying to take multiple shots of someone or something. Last but not least, my final tip is to use all of the tools mentioned in this video to help eliminate your need for a flash. Once you know how to adjust your lighting with our exposure and focus tricks, you will get brighter, more beautiful photos than you would by using a flash. So here is an example of my little assistant Toby with a flash. It makes his eyes look funny. He's just, too exposed. So here is the same spot, same lighting and everything without a flash, and I used my focusing, tap to focus, and also adjusted the light. So every so often you have no other choice, but we really want to avoid washed out images that a flash can create and have more beautiful images to work with when we edit. And that's time. Thank you for joining me for our first 5-minute tips and tricks video. I'll see you next time when we tackle iPhone editing.